And we welcome you everyone here to the Flight Racing Network's half coverage, I guess you could maybe say, of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by Charlie Designs, the NDCar Series season finale championship on the line at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As we join just around the halfway point, you see a new layout. We're trying to get some things squared away here in the first half of this race, but the story coming into tonight, your top two pretty much are the guys that we're focused on with that championship hanging in the balance. Taylor Jordan has been on an absolute tear in the close of this season. Eric Schaus lost the points lead 3 weeks ago. He's been trying to play catch-up ever since. 33 points separate these two coming into tonight, and it's double points, so they're right in the same zip code. These final 50 laps could make things interesting.
I mean, it doesn't matter where you really finish in the championship here. Both of them are going for the win. Does not matter if you walk away with a championship. Everyone wants to win this race, and it looks like a caution from... Actually, it may have been a slow car entering pit road.
Yeah, I see that there. I believe that might potentially have been...
Actually, no. I think it may have been Jim Herrick.
Look with the relative we've got here. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it might have been the 40.
I think he just got a little loose.
Let's go back and see if we can find out what happened to him. Well, actually, saying maybe Nate Fields was slow on the track.
No, I'm looking here, and it looks like Jim Herrick was the cause of this, and he was just ending up sliding into 3, and it was just enough where there was enough cars around him that pretty much just brought out the caution.
Oh, yep, just found it. All right, here's a look at it here.
And just looks like a matter of just got his left side tires down right below that line. And I'm used to some of the other open wheel cars just not really liking you throwing it that far down on the track. So I'm guessing probably just the rear end stepped out, and it just stepped out just enough to spin it on around.
Probably got that left front down there as well, on the just below the white line. There's rumble strips down there, but normally they're only there as a guideline, really, to show where the asphalt ends and the grass begins. So there's a tiny bit of counterbanking, actually, really, when you put your left sides down below that white line.
Hey. Indiana bites another one.
So Jim Herrick, who right now is scored on the lead lap, probably going to have to get a little bit of damage repair done. Looks like everybody was on pit road here under this caution period. Taylor Jordan coming off pit lane as the leader. Eric Schaus in second. Chris Stouffer, Will Roberts, Eric Peterson going to be the top 5. Obviously, with missing the first half of the race, a couple of things ended up taking place. Najee Camargo currently, I believe he is out of the race. Charles Teed and Nate Fields, they're currently sitting on pit road. So
Teed had a really cool move in the 3. Overtook like 3 cars and then promptly spun the car around.
Yeah, and of course, coming off a victory from a few weeks ago. Would have loved to have ended out this season on a high note. He came into tonight's race 5th in overall points, and while, as I said, our main focus is really on the championship too, there still are some battles going on in the final season standings. Drivers trying to finish the best they possibly can. Craig Forsyth and Charles Teed, they came in separated by 6 points for 4th in the standings. It was, I believe, 7 points between Najee Camargo and Jeff Hysong for 7th in points. So, things were still pretty close between certain drivers. And, yeah, you may not win the championship, but you want to at least go out there and finish the highest you possibly can in overall points based off your current situation.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations that that either driver is going to be really fast here, and kind of the point strategies, you may be playing them out in your head, and you've kind of ran it through of, this is what I need to do to win, this is what I need to do to win. At this point, just go out and finish ahead of the other guy and hope for the best. really what you're doing here is you're going for the race win with an opportunity of a championship.
Lights are out atop the pace truck, so we're going to get ready to go back green. Taylor Jordan, so far this season, we've seen in the past other series here for the Dark Horse Racing series, there's always seems to be that one driver that rises to the occasion, always comes in as the championship favorite. Taylor Jordan, you look at the stats he's had, definitely meets that caliber. 4 pole positions, has followed it up with 4 trips to victory lane. And in the 9 starts he's made, he's only had 1 finish outside of the top 5. He's finished in the top 10 every single race. The biggest thing that kind of jumps out to me as well, there are bonus points that drivers are able to earn. He's earned 24 bonus points here this season. Next closest to him is J.W. Miller, who we didn't see after I think race 3 or 4. He won a couple of the first races of the season, had 17 bonus points, but he was 12th in points coming into tonight and not in the field either.
And a great start by Jordan. Schaus is right on his tail, and it looks like Will Roberts there in 4th. He is going to be trying the outside.
Not going to work there out of turn number 1. Trying to set up the pass, try and get the slipstream, try and get the run. Big run there, you see, for Eric Schaus down the back straightaway, and he'll dart to the inside of Taylor Jordan for the race lead. Leading a lap, leading the most laps, keeping your car in good condition. I believe bonus points are paid out as long as you don't have any incident points at the conclusion. All that could be important for Eric Schaus, especially if the driver of the 802 Taylor Jordan runs into problems here.
If we can talk about a guy who's really picked it up in the last few weeks, has to be DL Lemon. Where early on in the season, kind of struggling with the car, but now, hey, he's running consistently in the top 10, top 5, almost knocking on the door for a win one of these weeks.
And he was, to a point you were making when we were trying to get everything squared away, he was out in front, leading some laps here tonight in this one. So he's had a string of races, last 3 or 4 races, where he's led a good chunk of it. Ooh, was getting the wall right there. I believe that was Will Roberts off of turn number 4.
Just the runs these guys get down straightaways. I'm really wondering when it gets later in the race and you stop lifting, how many of those 2-3 wide situations may we get into?
Chris Stouffer trying to hold off Will Roberts for the 3rd position. Got some good battles all up here inside the top 6. Jordan and Schaus would lead. Stouffer, Roberts for 3rd. DL Lemon, Eric Peterson mixing it up for the 5th position. Craig Forsyth entering into that vicinity as well. I think maybe Peterson got his left sides down there. Got a little loose off of turn number 3. Craig Forsyth started to close up the gap, and he's going to look low down the front stretch.
And Indy's one of those tracks where you see all the available real estate down there, and you want to start taking advantage of it all. Maybe on new tires it will work, but on old tires, that really does not.
Now, originally coming into tonight, this was going to be a full-length race, 200 laps, 500 miles. It got shortened to half of that, 100 laps, but I think that if we had had the 200 laps, we would have at the very beginning preached patience. You can't win the race on lap 1, but you can certainly lose it. Does halving this race in terms of total distance, wow, Will Roberts, I don't know if he just got loose off of 4 and did the car direct him, or did he direct the car? I'm not sure that time. Off of turn 4. But, I mean...
DL Lemon did not lift. He was committed. He wants to go to the front.
But now, I mean, the gloves are off. We're nearing 40 laps to go. But, in the early going of this, you talked about the big move by Charles Teed. We got Najee Camargo out of the race. I mean, do you think these drivers had the same kind of approach for a 100-lapper as they would have had if this had been the full 500 miles?
I mean, obviously, adding an additional 100 miles into it, or adding an additional 250 miles into it, that's definitely kind of weighs on your mind of like, okay, maybe I need to kind of pace myself here. Taking away those 100 laps, that puts the urgency on. Doesn't seem like that much, but as time starts ticking down and, hey, you're starting to work your way throughout the field and learning how fast these cars are, maybe what you can do, where you need to be, by the time you already figure that out, hey, it's about lap 70, lap 80, you have about 20 laps to make those moves.
DL Lemon and Chris Stouffer have made their way up to the front now. You go back to DL Lemon, I believe it was...
I will admit, I am really sketched. I'm really sketched out of how close they're putting those left sides all the way down to the grass.
Yeah,
In past experiences, I have not had great reviews about that.
well, we've already seen a couple of drivers get loose down there. I'm surprised that more drivers are still venturing down that low below the white line.
Let's say they're finding grip, but hey, if it sticks, it sticks.
Now move there for DLM. Oh, how about 3 wide? Will Roberts to the bottom. And he's going to get the spot. Had a big run there with the slipstream.
That
Almost
car
into
wiggled.
the back of DL Lemon was Christopher.
That car wiggled so badly when he sent it into the corner. Sailed it off, barely caught itself.
We do have to remember as well, I don't have information in front of me at this point in time, but these drivers do have the fast repair option. I don't know if any of the drivers currently running have already used it or not. They have that mulligan. I would say.
Well, I mean, how they're racing, they're acting like they have.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the top 6, 7, 8, I think they probably do have it with the way they're racing. I think you hit the nail on the head.
I'd say how they're running, they're acting like they have it. So I'm pretty confident here that some of these drivers, again, it's last race of the season. There's 2 that are going for a championship. Everyone else here is going for a race win. It's kind of trying to decide, looks like Forsyth got a little bit of a bump from Peterson.
You know, there's a number of drivers that are still looking for that first win on the year. What a way to do it in the finale. You've got Joseph Morales up here, Eric Peterson, Jeff Heisong, aforementioned DL Lemon, Chris Stouffer. Beginning of the season, he was on track, I think, for 2 or 3 victories, but it just seemed like second half of the race, he would always run into problems, and usually it wasn't of his own making, usually kind of caught up in somebody else's mess. So maybe today is the day for the 15 to finally find victory lane.
I mean, everyone wants to win in Indiana for varying reasons that we can't say on broadcast, but everyone wants to win in Indiana, especially in one of these open wheels.
Yes. Kind of the crown jewel, if you will, for open wheel
I don't know
racing.
if we can say that.
Oh, we're not allowed to say that? Okay.
I don't know if you can call it a crown jewel.
It's the royalty hat gemstone.
The Indiana
I made it as
250.
generic as I could.
Close enough.
Will Roberts and DL Lemon continuing to mix it up. Will Roberts, former winner this season from Phoenix. DL Lemon almost got the victory back at Homestead, Miami, but ended up, I believe he spun the tires on the final restart as the leader.
I think he put it in first, and he slammed down the gas, and he went to the inside wall.
Yep, so looking for a little redemption from that. Chris Stouffer, trying to remember which racetrack it was in the early going of the season. I believe it was Michigan, if I recall correctly. Was very much in the conversation for that one. He was up in the top 3 or 4 most of the race. Still looking for that first win. And then there's Craig Forsyth in the 4th position. Took us a long time this season to finally, that was a little close there between Lemon and Stouffer, but it took a long time for us to finally see the 27 back in victory lane at Motegi. 1 victory on the season. Would like to be a multi-time winner this year, joining the likes of Taylor Jordan and J.W. Miller. Oh, and Charles Teed, actually, correction, because I forgot. Yeah, Teed has 2 victories, 1 at Homestead and 1 at Kentucky last time we were on the air with these cars.
Let's see, Teed does not get enough credit in these cars. He has really kind of stepped it up, and oh my goodness, I thought someone was going into the pit wall back there.
Got one that's on pit road. I believe that was Sheridan Wade in the 54.
Don't know if he may have brushed the wall a little bit.
He was on
he didn't
the
brush
tail end
the
of the lead lap.
You know, he didn't brush the wall, but he just lost the pack, so he may be trying to get off strategy a little bit, seeing if he can just kind of run alone, maybe catch up with that back of the pack.
Try to get off sequence. See a little cloud cover starting to move in there, over in 3 and over a little bit into the entrance of 4. Track's been bathed in sunlight pretty much the entirety of this race, which I think just exacerbates the slidiness we see these drivers have when they get those left sides down below that white line, as DL Lemon Speaking of sliding, he slides up across the front wing of Chris Stouffer back to the point. Stouffer going to charge again. And Taylor Jordan enters back into the vicinity.
Look
we
at
saw him there.
Forsyth. My goodness.
We saw when we came on the air, Taylor Jordan was out in front. He kind of faded back to around 6th or 7th, seemed content to ride there. Now he's charging back up the front again. And in turn, so is Eric Schaus in the 5th spot, looking for 4th. Got another one diving to pit road there. I believe that's Jim Herrick in the 40 car.
Just the run that you get down the straightaways if you're one of the drafted cars. Oh my goodness.
That was a wiggle and a half off of turn number 1. Chris Stouffer nearly ran him over and then nearly wrecked himself for his troubles. How we didn't have a caution come out right there, I'm not sure.
I don't think Forsyth lifted. I think he stayed in it the entire corner. Everyone else was panicking and he was on it.
He had that one figured out where he needed to be, and he's gone to the point now. Chris Stouffer, I'd be a little bit worried with that movement. You know, eating up those Firestone tires, grip will start going away. Lemon obviously sliding. We've got another one diving to pit road. That's Arturo Mayorga.
Well, I mean, you got to think. You got the normal issues. You got the low. As you start running down fuel, it's going to start feeling a little bit more free in the rear. But what I'm also thinking of here, is, again, like you said, they're diving down a lot lower. But track's getting a little bit slicker. And again, you got to worry about aero on these cars. I mean, it may not seem like that big of a factor, but hey, these airplane-y boys, they love their air.
They definitely do. I mean, we've seen it at the bigger racetracks this season. Michigan and Auto Club, a lot of movement when they're double wide and 3 wide, utilizing the side draft, utilizing the slipstream to be able to generate runs. As now back to the point goes DL Lemon. We've had about 3 drivers that have come to pit road in the last 10 laps or so. Herrick, Mayorga, and Sheridan Wade trying to get a little bit off sequence here. We've crested 30 laps to go. You have to assume they're going to have to make at least one more pit stop to make it the rest of the way. So when do we start to see some of our leaders diving onto pit lane?
That is a good question that I do not have an answer to.
It's okay, I don't either. Whoa, that's contact.
Just got a little bit dicey.
Little wheel-to-wheel contact there with DL Lemon. They were side drafting for 2nd place down the front stretch.
I think Lemon at the moment is someone who's not really afraid to put their car places. I mean, you got to think Lemon's got really nothing to lose here. No championship implications. He is really just going out for a checkered flag. Honestly, as reckless as it may seem, I'm kind of in support of it where, I mean, hey, make them scared.
Yeah.
Make them think that you're not going to lift.
Well, that's the thing, too. I've noticed this in the past. If you drive scared, you're going to make more mistakes than if you drive fearless. So
it just, the thing is, you have nothing to lose. Everyone else knows you got nothing to lose. Prove it. Yeah. Put your nose in there. DL
Lemon, he has made 10 starts of the 11 completed races, tonight being race number 12, 2 top 5s, 6 top 10s. You know, when I think about it, we've ended up having, near the end of the seasons that we've broadcasted here for Dark Horse Racing Series, always seems to be that one driver that kind of stands out where we think, you know, if he ran the full season, he could be up there maybe in the championship hunt as a little bit of an underlying dark horse. Pun maybe intended right there. DL Lemon, you know, if we end up having another season of this and he runs the full schedule, we could be saying his name by the time we get to the season finale in the same conversation as championship.
I really think he could. That's it. If he puts a full season together and just really limits mistakes.
Yes,
that would be very. We've had drivers in the past where I think you can kind of name one off the top of your head that's it. He was bad fast, but man, every single race he's into something.
Yep. Yep, got to close out deals, got to limit those errors. As Taylor Jordan, he thought about a twofer there. Was that a bump?
Yeah, I think DL Lemon mistimed the pullout just a little bit. Hit Eric Schaus. Schaus got loose.
Oh, he's still loose. My gosh, he spent the entire turn 1 trying to save that thing.
I'm wondering if that little hit either kind of may have damaged that left rear wheel a little bit, or it could have just burnt up the right side, burnt up the right side tires enough that it's just not sticking in corners.
Yeah, that's the one thing, you just bring that up, that we kind of have to look at as well. We're seeing this wheel-to-wheel contact, this little bit of contact front wing to rear gearbox and everything. With how aero sensitive these cars are, even the most minusculous little ripple on the wing could end up being a difference maker into how the car is going to handle going into the corner, exiting out of the corner, the ability to be able to get that straightaway speed. So while you do maybe want to rough them up a little bit, maybe intimidate them a little bit, you don't really want to take the chance that you're going to give yourself any aero damage deficiency here for the remainder of this race.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where this track, the track itself, maybe when watching overhead, looks huge. It looks like they've got a bunch of racing room, like there's no spaces. It's a fact of when you're in car, it's, oh, caution's out, don't know where.
Jim Herrick again?
Maybe. It doesn't look like...
It's on pit road.
Oh, yeah, it looks like... may have been involved in... yeah, it looks like he may have lost it entering... I think that's 2?
Let's see if we can figure out what happened, if it was indeed the 40.
Actually, looks like the same spot, looks like he lost it in 3.
And he took a pretty good shot that time with the right side. Yeah, got down with those left sides, down below that white line again. You see the left front tire still tethered to the race car, but at that point suspension's broke. He's not able to turn the car up into the safer barrier, and pretty sure that's probably going to be Jim Herrick's night over. We had that first incident when we came on the air with him, which I would assume would have forced him to a fast repair. As pit road is open, everybody on pit road, and obviously we don't have the fuel numbers in front of us, but I would hazard a guess this probably would be the caution needed for them to be able to make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think they should be able to make it to the end from here. It's a 25-lap dash.
Taylor Jordan pulls into the attention of his crew. It's like they're going to change all 4. Send him down and away. Very easily going to win the battle off pit road. Looks like Forsyth and then close for third between Will Roberts and Eric Schaus. Give it to Schaus. Then Roberts 4th, and Peterson will be 5th. So this restart's going to be in the vicinity of 25, maybe just a little less to go. About 3/4 of the way through tonight's season finale for the Dark Horse Racing Series Fart NDCar Series. Taylor Jordan out in front. For Taylor Jordan, he just has to have a decent day. For Eric Schaus, 33 points back. Even though there's the double points factor, he needs to have a great day, and he needs Taylor Jordan to have some issues. I'm pretty sure I brought up this conversation, this question to you when we were getting ready to leave Kentucky of, would you rather be the hunter or be the hunted? And you said definitely want to play defense because you have a lot more options that way.
Yeah, being on defense, I mean, it just kind of gives you that opportunity where you don't have to go out swinging. It's just run at your own pace, do what you keep doing. And hey, if it does get to that position where it's, it's do or die, hey, you've been kind of relaxing most of the race, and you can finally decide when you want to ramp it up. When if you're hunting down the guy who's a leader in points, you have to go out swinging because you know it's the final race. You know you're not going to get another opportunity. This is your only shot to get him. And by the time that, hey, it finally gets in that do or die situation, you've been pushing the entire race. That one guy, he's probably been taking it easy the entire race. He can finally start going. So it's just a matter of comfort over kind of desperation.
I believe that Arturo Mayorga, when he made his pit stop, I think he was on the lead lap still after his service was completed when that caution came out. I don't know if there were any lap machines out there running, so I don't think anybody's getting the lucky dog. So we should have, by my last count, 10 drivers still running, and all 10 of them on the lead lap. Looks like Sheridan Wade and Nate Fields It's like they may have, when they came to pit road, they may have taken their cars back behind the wall. Charles Teed still sits on pit lane. Jim Herrick sits on pit lane. Going to try and see if they can repair anything there to get him back out. Though I don't know if he would necessarily have enough laps to be able to gain any positions, as he's currently scored in 11th, Wade in 12th, Nate Fields 13th, Charles Teed 14th, and Najee Camargo in 15th place. So 10 drivers left, getting ready for yet another restart. It's Taylor Jordan who's got the field in tow. Green flag back in the air here as we've got 21 circuits left remaining here at the Brickyard.
Now here's my question. Do you take it easy and kind of let the race come to you? Or, hey, do you remember it's 20 laps to go and you need to go?
I think if you're Taylor Jordan, you definitely go. You don't want all that mayhem behind you catching up and putting you in a bit of a position. Here comes Craig Forsyth with a big run there. And this is something we've seen in the past here at Indianapolis, in the fact that usually that second or third place car, while it looks like the leader gets a really good jump, that's not necessarily a great thing, as Will Roberts, what a save, nearly gets the pit wall there as well. Little contact between him and Taylor Jordan for second off of 4, but he keeps it pointed the right direction, loses spots back to 7th. We'll see if he can work his way back up forward. I'd be a little bit concerned if there might be some damage on that right front wing.
Yeah, I'd say maybe a little bit of damage, but at least the left rear of Taylor Jordan does not look that bad. I don't think there's any damage on it.
Great job keeping his hopes alive of maybe picking up second win on the season in tonight's finale. Taylor Jordan gets back by Craig Forsyth to take the lead. Keep an eye on someone that's kind of creeping their way up. We haven't talked much about him here tonight, but how about Joseph Morales in the 60? He's now into the 5th position, trying to hold off Chris Stouffer and Will Roberts. Joseph Morales has been very quietly consistent the entire season, 6th in the overall points. He's had 5 top 5s and 8 top 10s in his 11 previous starts coming into tonight, and he is potentially within striking distance of Charles Teed, Craig Forsyth to maybe finish out the year top 5 in the points.
Do we bring him up? Do we jinx him? Do we bring up Eric Peterson?
You mentioned his name, so you've got the ball. Might as well run with it now.
And that's the thing, like, Eric has been hanging here, and he is really the king of having good runs, but just not having good finishes. He's had luck at Indy in the past. I kind of like his odds here.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that, and you did
They're
as
going
well.
3 wide for Lee.
Yes, they are. Eric Schau's gonna force the issue. Almost slides up into Taylor Jordan, who in turn almost got the safer barrier off of 3. This is bedlam up amongst the top 5, but going back to the point you were going to make, I was going to say, we've seen Eric Peterson, we talk about him, usually that ends up being the commentator's curse, and he runs into problems, but his numbers in the past here at Indianapolis in open wheel race cars have actually been quite good and quite consistent, so maybe tonight is the night for that bright yellow 36.
Maybe, but I'm seeing Will Roberts, he's starting to have...
Don't say it with a question mark, come on.
I will say, Will... Whenever I see Will pass cars, he has to look like the most unstable car in this field. But man, is he fast.
He's definitely fast. I just saw he had a little bit of a blinkage moment there as well. So keep tabs on that. But you know what they say, loose is faster than on the edge of out of control. So, may not have a very good handling.
I don't know in
car.
the Wiggy Boys if that's exactly true. Typically they work better when the wheels are on the ground.
I mean... If the wheels aren't on the ground, it's an airplane, and then it's definitely fast. Little jet fuel in an open wheel car never hurt nobody. Craig Forsyth, back to the point. How about this? Stack them up, double wide, 3 rows deep. Oh, Morales getting loose down there. Big wiggle. Again, maybe it's just instinctual. Maybe it's just force of habit to put those left sides down below the white line. But with how many cars we've seen get out of shape here, I don't understand why they keep going back to the well. If it's me, I'm running right that line there that Forsyth did, about maybe 6 inches away from that white line. That's where the walls of my left sides are going to be.
Well, I said, it's just a different mentality. Like, I know me and you, we're used to the big body stock cars. We're used to putting it all the way down to the grass. That's how we love this track. But just these open wheels. Oh, no! Morales is in the fence. Oh no, Peterson and DL Lemon, no.
And no caution as of yet. Now there it is. There's the yellow. There is Lemon. Morales can't get. Oh, Morales. He couldn't turn his car. It went
No.
straight up, and there was Lemon.
Oh, no. That had to be the slowest crash ever saw.
It's just kind of just
Oh,
watching.
man, it's still not turning. It's still. Oh well, it's turning. Oh no.
It almost looks like the car's surrendering. Its hands are up in the air.
Well, I mean, if he puts it in like a different gear, it should.
See?
It's
So-
going. It's a controlled flight into terrain. Okay.
So what Morales, I think, is trying to do here, he's trying to get back to his pit
I mean, it's
stall
quicker to
without
drive
having
it
to call a
back.
tow. Yeah,
But I think he's going to run into an issue when he gets to his pit box.
I think you're right.
Oh.
I mean, if the front wheels were off the ground, do the brakes still work? Rear
I mean, you
brakes
gotta
probably.
put the bias to the back, but oh, those poor pit crews.
Eric Peterson was able to drive away. See if we can.
Looks like he got a little bit of side pod damage, a little bit of side floor damage actually, but could be wrong.
Well, he's already running back 6th position. That's next to last of the lead lap cars, so not really much of a track position penalty if he comes down and repairs that. Looks like Will Roberts is coming in.
I would come down just to throw tires on it because realistically, I think tires are worth more in this situation.
Christopher, Jeff Heisong also in. Let's go back and see if we can document all of what took place. First incident starts with the 60 of Joseph Morales, who has made it down
Oh,
to his pit stall, but he's trying to do a 3-point turn into his stall or something like that.
I give him props. He's trying.
See where his contact was.
Looks like it just snapped loose on him.
Might have been in reaction to what we saw. Oh, no, I think he made a little contact with his left front wheel, got the right rear of Chris Stouffer, who was trying to save it after he and Will Roberts had gotten together. That's Jeff Heisong swinging around the top side. Heisong entering into the vicinity of DL Lemon right there is what ended up bringing out the caution. And there you see,
Oh,
as you coined it, the world's slowest wreck.
But I mean, the kind of the crash between Peterson and DL Lemon was a little bit weird. I'm not really sure how that one kicked off.
We'll take a look here. Two of them were battling, I believe, for the 6th position. Oh! Does Peterson go to avoid the 60 spinning? Did he come down into Lemon? Nope.
Looks like a little bit of gap whack
Yep,
and then a
our
little
old
bit
friend
of.
gap whack.
It was a bit of an aggressive cut by Peterson, but I'm not sure why Lemon didn't realize it. And
then,
oh no,
doink.
that's just adding insult to injury.
It really is. It really is.
Like you've already crashed.
See, did Morales make it back to his pit stall? He did, and he had a faster pair available. And I believe he stayed on the lead lap for his troubles. So
That is incredible.
that is. So if Joseph Morales comes back to win this race, then we're gonna have to remember back that point there where he
That is
was able to drive? Question mark.
Well, he's one
Back
lap
to his-
down. It looks like. Yeah, it looks like he's one down at the moment,
Yes.
but never
yep, you
caution,
are
and
correct.
he's suddenly back in it.
Yeah, he's a lap down. DL Lemon also a lap down, and Arturo Mayorga also a lap down. So we'll have 7 drivers on the lead lap when we go back green. Forsyth, Jordan, Shao Stouffer, Peterson Heisong, and Will Roberts. Going to be the last of those. Jeff Heisong. Haven't mentioned his name all that much here, and he was way, way back, making his way through that trio of wrecked race cars through 3 and 4. I don't know if he may have gotten some damage from earlier that he's nursing before taking on a faster pair, or if he's just trying to keep himself out of trouble, keep that thing in one piece for the remainder of this race, so that way he has something to battle with in the closing stages in the attempt to try and pick up his first win on the season. And Heisong was a driver that we were talking quite a bit about at the beginning of the year in terms of battling for the points lead. He's hit a bit of a cold streak the last few races, dropped 3 spots in the standings after the Kentucky race to 8th, so trying
I
to end out
think
the year on a high note.
I think what that really has come to, where he kind of had a learning curve of these cars, wasn't as good as Will Roberts just shot out the outside.
He also spun the tires a little bit there too, it looked like.
I mean,
Trying to get that thing going.
he launched it.
Next time by, gonna be 10 laps to go. As Will Roberts almost knocked the wall down. It looked there. Very wide exit out of turn 2. You see Craig Forsyth moving way down the racetrack, trying to break the draft, not allow anybody to be able to get that run on him.
And I think really what Will's doing is Will's using the advantage of those new tires, being able to run them a little bit harder, a little bit higher. I think that may come in handy, but it will end up evening out within the next 5-10 laps.
Eric Schaus going to go to the points. So for Eric Schaus, he's able to win this race, he would need Taylor Jordan to finish quite a ways back. I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head. I could try and look and see just exactly if Schaus were to win, where he would need Taylor Jordan to finish in order to be able to take this championship. I believe that the race winner ends up getting a total of 50 points. There was 33 point separation, so if we were kind of doing the calculation of double points, let's say you want 17 regular points. That means that he would need... Eric Schaus would need the points leader to finish in 4th place or worse with no bonus points.
But he does have bonus points from leading a lap.
Right, and I'm almost certain, not 100% certain, but almost certain that Taylor Jordan may have led the most laps up to this point as well.
It's more or less, Schaus needs to control his own destiny. Where,
yes,
look, he needs to go out and win this race, and then worry about the consequences later.
Probably better if he doesn't even think about points, right? Just basically focus on a race-winning strategy here as if there are no points on the line.
It's a thing of, you know what you have to do the best you can, and then after you do the best you can, see how the other guy did.
Craig Forsyth now to the point, and he is a former winner of the Dark Horse 500. I believe it was season 3, if I recall correctly, of that series. Where he went to victory lane here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So obviously he knows how to make it around the 2.5-mile historic racetrack, but Schaus continues to cross him back over. They're kind of swapping it back and forth, and guess what that's doing? Bringing some more players into the conversation. Chris Stouffer, Will Roberts, Taylor Jordan, Eric Peterson side by side for 5th place. Less than 10 to go. 7 laps remaining here. It is crunch time.
Oh, I'm hearing some...
Now remind me...
Oh, I saw Morales!
And Morales, I think, is flying. Oh, he was airborne for a moment. All 4 tires still on the ground here as no caution. That was at the back of the pack. And with no oncoming traffic, we remain green.
Oh, he's limping it back. I think that may be done, buddy.
I think that may be over. We know he's already taken on the faster pair after being involved in the last caution.
That one may be cooked.
Tough break there. Jeff Heisong looks like he may actually have come to pit road and already taken it to the garage.
Oy, but almost 3 wide here. Will Roberts thinking better of it.
There's Morales down on the access road. We may not be done with cautions, though, the way these guys are racing here. Oh, there's a caution. Yellow flag is out.
Yeah, it looks like the caution was called because Morales was on pit road and it deemed him close enough to the racetrack.
Yeah, he was on that access road there over in turn 3.
Oh, he's still trying to make it back. I'd just tell it at this point.
Well, that's going to give us an opportunity to go back and see what happened between him and Jeff Heisong.
Man, the back and front of that car is like pointing in different directions.
when the camera cut out with him out of view, I thought he definitely got some air, but I thought that thing was going to be flipping and barrel rolling.
So what looks like happened is this kind of kicked off with Heisong, actually. So if we look forward to Heisong's car, he ended up getting a little bit of contact from DL Lemon, which sent him down the racetrack. Then Heisong ended up coming right back into Morales. So it looks like he just came up the track and just hooked him, almost like he just didn't expect he was there.
That thing went into quite a spin after hitting the inside wall, and I'm really surprised that thing did not get airborne, but Tokyo drifting his way back to pit road, and as you mentioned, more than likely officials deeming him too close to the racing surface with the oncoming traffic, even though he was down on the access road, and, well, you gotta credit him for trying. It's the second time he's tried migrating his way down to pit road.
A little bit. At least he has four wheels this time, but I don't think
He does. All four wheels are at least touching the pavement at this point.
I don't think they're fixing that. I think they're going to tell you to pack it up and go home.
Suspension obviously broken. So this is going to give us a restart. And I was going to mention before we ended up having that caution come out, I need you to refresh my memory if this series, I know there was a thing bandied about midway portion of the season, but I don't remember if it was made official or not. Do we have overtimes here in this series?
Should be 2 green white checkers if I remember correctly.
All right, so we will probably go green here in regulation, but we may have to utilize those overtime restarts if necessary. Well, he got it into his pit stall. They're servicing it.
Okay.
But I think it's probably going to be a very lengthy stay, as lights are still on atop the Pace truck. Had a couple of drivers fake that they were going to come to pit road. If you were going to come to pit road, I think the only reason you would be maybe for tires, but
I think it's a little bit too late for tires at this point. I mean, you're kind of stuck with what you got, because even if you took tires, you're way back in the pack. It just would not be worth it.
I mean, if you're, say, like a Chris Stouffer, Taylor Jordan, Eric Peterson, you're probably going to start outside of the top 3, 4 anyway.
Roberts,
is there enough in it where fresh tires would help you on a shootout, or no?
I mean, look at what Roberts did on new tires. I mean, he cut through the field. Granted, he was cutting through the field beforehand, but that's just something to kind of keep in mind, where he was slicing through the field with those tires, and he has the freshest tires out of his group. So,
all right. So, situational question. We've seen race leaders on restarts. Oh, okay. That's a good answer, but it doesn't answer what my question was going to be. So we've seen race leaders. They've been able to get a bit of a gap. They then get reeled back in off of turn 2, get past, and then usually are able to fight their way back up to the front on this restart, which now appears with the lights out is going to be an in-regulation green-white checkered. Do you want to be Schaus the leader? Do you want to be Forsyth in second? Do you want to be somebody else maybe outside of the top 2?
I want to be Roberts. I want to be Stover, because realistically, I'm the lead car. I am the pick. I am. These guys are going about 250, 260 down the straightaway. I'm going about 240. Realistically, I know I'm not going to hold them off. And if I'm second place, I'm a little bit iffy, because I got to time my move out right while still defending the guys behind me. And if I make that move too early or put us too wide too early, well, congratulations, I just opened up for the guys behind. And I think those are what the 2 guys behind are hoping for. Of those 2 guys battle them, and you can just kind of sling on around them.
All right, so in the case of Eric Schaus, as we mentioned, try to control what you can control. Treat this as a race that you want to win, get that final checkered flag, regardless of if you're going to get the championship at the end of the night or not. How aggressive is the blocking going to be for the 72? How much risk versus reward is there going to be for him playing major defense?
I think if that 802 is within the top 5, you're pretty much you're blocking the win. If you get turned, you get turned, because realistically, I think that's what you're kind of needing at this point.
Well, Pace truck's going to go to pit road. If we get the white flag, we race back to the checkers. If the caution comes out prior to the displaying of the white flag, we rack them up, and we do it again heading into overtime. Eric Schaus gets us back under green. Lots of wheel spin there from 3rd back through 5th. Roberts takes a peek up top. Forsyth trying to challenge the 72 of Schaus for the lead. It's going to be for 2nd place here. That's what Schaus wanted to see there for the moment through 1 and 2.
And it is basically, you can throw a blanket over the top 5, 6 cars here.
Oh, man, that was a close move there by Forsyth across the nose of Taylor Jordan. Roberts to the inside of Eric Schaus. He's going to go to the race lead. Clears himself up. Here comes Jordan for 2nd. Can they get out of turn 4? Looks like they're gonna. White flag displayed for the 31. Here comes Schaus back to the point.
Well, welcome to no lift territory.
Absolutely. Oh, contact! Taylor Jordan, Eric Schaus get together going into 1. Roberts into the wall. Here comes the 15 of Chris Stouffer. He might be able to get a big run on these two if they're going to stall each other out. Here he comes to the bottom.
Oh man, you're gonna send it 3 here.
Can they survive into the entrance of 3? Stouffer is clear. Schaus powering around the outside, too hot. He almost gets the wall. Contact there between Taylor Jordan and Chris Stouffer. We're
Look at
drag racing
Forsyth.
back to the line. Forsyth with a run. Stouffer, I think he's clear.
Look at Forsyth.
Forsyth, can he get him at the stripe? I think he did. I think Forsyth got him. He was 4th coming out of turn 4, and he got the momentum to take the checkered flag tonight in the finale.
And it looks like Taylor Jordan will be our champion. Eric Schaus finished his P4 right behind him.
Jordan in 3rd, Stouffer in 2nd, but how in the world did Craig Forsyth pull off that move? Well, I know how he pulled off that move. You remember that other race I talked about where he ended up winning here at Indianapolis? Yeah, he was up the middle, 3 wide in a battle to the start-finish line and came out on top. So he's been there before. He knows what he's doing. And he's going to get his 2nd win on the season in a nail-biter here tonight in the finale at Indianapolis.
My goodness.
Interval says that the top 3 were separated by, it looks like, 8 100ths.
Oy, oy.
Craig Forsyth getting it done here tonight. He came into this evening's race 4th in points. He was 16 points, if my math is right, behind Will Roberts for finishing out the season on the podium in the top 3. And he now joins J.W. Miller, Charles Teed, and Taylor Jordan as a multi-time winner here this season. Whew.
My goodness.
We're going to try and catch our breath up here, try and let the drivers catch their breath in preparation for their interviews as we now head into our FRN post-race wind-down. Eric Schaus bringing it home in the 4th position, Eric Peterson 5th. Then D.L. Lemon, he's going to finish out the evening in 6th. Jeff Highsong was 7th. Will Roberts, Joseph Morales, and Arturo Mayorga, the top 10. And we ran you down through the rest of the drivers that did not reach the conclusion. Jim Herrick, Sheridan Wade, Nate Fields, Charles Teed, and Najee Camargo completing the 15-car field that took the green earlier on tonight. Well, I think probably as per usual, we won't have the opportunity to interview our champion. But we can talk to the other 2 drivers that finished up inside of the podium. And let's see if we can get the driver that brought it home in 2nd place here tonight. And that would be Chris Stouffer. Chris, it's Matthew and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
I'll tell you what, wild end to tonight's race here in the season finale. We mentioned a lot of drivers came into tonight with not a whole lot to lose, but getting that final checkered flag of the season, you raced your guts out there on that final lap, coming up just a little bit short of getting that checkered flag. I mean, what, if anything, was there to do to be able to keep the 27 from getting that run and being able to get this checkered flag and be sitting in victory circle?
Well, first of all, I want to thank 4D Racewear, Jim, for sponsoring me, and then he was also sponsoring Craig there. And so, you know, what could I have done? Thrown a big, mean block right there off of 4. That's about the only thing I could have did different.
You know, I got to ask you. You were coming off of 4. You had clean sailing in front of you. You see the guys behind you, they're falling away. Then suddenly you get your doors blown off by Forsyth. What was your reaction?
That whole last lap was a whole bunch of emotions. I'll tell you, that whole restart, you didn't know what was going to happen. The whole race was kind of chaotic with the cars and everything. And so you just wanted to be in the right place at the right time. And then, last lap flew, and I made it 3 wide, which I didn't do the whole race. and was kind of just holding my breath going into 3. And when we came out of 4, and I thought I had it. I like you said, clean selling. I was the only car there. I look in my rear view and I see that blue car, Craig, coming up, and I kind of cheated to the left just a little bit to kind of deter him from taking that run, but he was going so fast. I couldn't have, if I would have pulled down and gave him a big old block, it would have been nasty. We've been carnage there on the front stretch.
So you talked about the chaoticness of these cars, and we saw it there. Not only in the closing stages, but during the last couple of stints, a lot of movement, a lot of trying to hang on to these things off of corner exits. So racked up having to do at least an in regulation green white checkered. I mean, what was the confidence level of if you throw it in somewhere, the car was going to stick and do exactly what you wanted it to do?
For me, it wasn't great. It wasn't high. I'll tell you that. I did pretty much throw it in there on that last lap and into turn 3, and I mean, I knew at the beginning of the run the car was real loose. You couldn't be flat out at all. I wasn't flat out except for maybe that last set of turns there. That was about it. And the big thing that I noticed with the car was if somebody lifted in front of you, your closing speed was so great that sometimes you just had to get out of the way and dart out of the way to avoid them. And I know you probably saw cars going all over the place, and I think that was a lot of it right there. Somebody just I know there was a couple times where somebody got loose in front of me, and I had to make evasive maneuvers to avoid them, and it caused a big checkup. I'll say checkup, and so going into that last stint, green white checkered there, I knew it was going to get crazy, and I guess I'll take second, but it was the last race of the season, so maybe I should have threw the block. Who knows? It is teammate, so I'm happy for Craig to get the win.
A great finish for you nonetheless to be able to end out the season. Congratulations on a job well done, making it there to the end in what was a chaotic run to the checkers. Chris, before we let you go, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
Well, again, I'll thank Jim Herrick for sponsoring me, 4D Racewear, for allowing me to run the season. It was a lot of fun, and thanks to the guys putting on the league. This was a lot of fun. I know I wasn't able to finish a lot of races for whatever various reasons, but it was fun out here running these cars. I look forward to it, and thank you guys up there in the booth for sponsoring us. I'll have to go back and watch this one.
Chris Stouffer brings it home on the podium here tonight in the finale at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Second place tonight for the number 15. Congratulations on the job well done.
Thank you.
And let's see if we can go down to victory lane and see if we can dial up Craig Forsyth. Craig, Matthew and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'll tell you what, I got shades of the season finale, season 2 of the Dark Horse Racing series with what we saw there off that final corner. I still have vivid recollection of you shooting up the middle 3 wide to be able to get that checkered flag right here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tonight you had to do it on the inside 4 wide coming to the checkered flag. 4th position off turn 4. You've only got about a couple hundred feet to work with. How in the world did you generate enough momentum to be the first one back to the Yard of Bricks?
Oh, I thought I was when I think it was Will in the short shoot of 1-2. He touched the wall, and I had to lift to cut under him. And I think Eric and I came out of 2, and I thought, oh, we're too far back. I've lost the draft. Like we won't have enough momentum. But then those guys went 3 wide down the straight, which was starting to get the momentum, and they went into the corner. At which point I was like, I think I'm going to have good speed. I think this is going to be good. And then, Taylor cut down in 4, but he slid up wide coming out, and I just held inside to try and stay right behind Chris. And I think that's what did it, because with him wide, Taylor was totally going to try and cut back down to go in, do the inside to the line, but I was luckily there at that point, so he couldn't do that. And then I was just shot the gap that luckily Chris left it open enough that I was going to go for it no matter what.
So you must have the roller coaster of emotions. I mean, you started off, restart, fires off, second place. Roberts flies to your outside. You go around a lap. You cross the line for the white flag in sixth after almost hitting the wall in four.
Yep.
How in the world did you just say, nah, I'm going to win this? Hang on a moment.
Trust the draft. That's this car at this track. It's just the draft is everything, and reading the draft and how the cars react. Because shoot for the gaps where they're going to be, I guess. But as I said, I've been going down the back straight. I didn't think I thought I was too far back and wasn't going to have it. It was only because the guys went 3 wide at that point, slowed them down enough that I was able to draft back up to them.
We've heard all season long, drivers have kind of had to go into a mode of adaptation to this car. Here tonight, we saw some of the usual things that we're used to seeing at Indianapolis not necessarily always work out. One of the key things that we were noticing were we're used to seeing drivers, they'll put their left sides down below the white line, getting close to that rumble strip, and, usually have enough grip where it doesn't cause that much of a situation. We saw about a half dozen drivers off the corner. They were getting absolutely squirrely trying to save those things. It looked like for the most part, you kind of kept your left sides up above that white line, didn't venture down there.
I think I spent half a practice backwards. This setup, usually, this car has so much downforce that you can just trust the downforce, nail the corners. And you had to be so careful because you couldn't you couldn't lift in the corners, because if you lifted, that's what was causing guys to lose it. So you had to figure out like how, 90% throttle, 80%. What was the sweet spot of 3/4 throttle that would still give you the downforce to do the to make the corners, and of course not lose time. And it was, as you said, coming up one lap before the end there, I bobbled it. I touched the wall at least twice. There were a couple times that, the second you stop, the second you relaxed or stopped paying attention, the car would bite you hard.
Well, a great way to end off the season for you, Craig. You got that victory about a month and a half ago at Motegi. Got that first checkered flag of the season. You cap it off here tonight with the big one, the season finale at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Before we let you get back to your celebrating, the floor is yours for Victory Lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
I've got to thank Jim at 40 Racewear. It is unfortunate for him with crashing out tonight, but Chris and I got a good 1-2 for the team, so that was nice. And everyone over at Dark Horse, I look forward to coming back next season once we start back up again. And you guys over at FRN, always love having you guys broadcast. Love rewatching the broadcast. Love telling my family to watch the broadcast. So friends and family. So it's nice to have you guys here with us, and look forward to seeing everyone in the future.
Well, right place, right time, an unbelievable move off the final corner to take the checkered flag here tonight in the final race of the season for the NDCar Series, the Fart NDCar Series under the Dark Horse Racing Series banner. It's Craig Forsyth who gets to kiss the yard of bricks here this evening. Congratulations once again on the great performance, the great run, and grabbing that checkered flag.
Thanks, Seth and Matt. You guys stay safe.
So Craig Forsyth, the winner of tonight's finale, the champion, Taylor Jordan, after 4 victories this season. And Matt, 12 race schedule, 6 different drivers going to victory lane. Came down to this season finale, still had a mathematical shot, did Eric Schaus. It was really fun to watch these two down the home stretch.
So do you want to know something really funny?
Sure.
Taylor Jordan didn't actually know he won the championship. He didn't know that he was in a championship battle.
Oh.
He thought this was just another race. So when he said over chat, hey, that was great, I'll see you guys next Sunday, obviously the red flags popped up of, what are you talking about? We're not going to have another race for a little bit. What do you mean? You won the championship. You won it by 39 points.
I mean, we were talking about Eric Schaus just treating This is just a regular race. That's what Taylor Jordan's been doing every week. It seems he didn't know he was even the championship battle.
We're thinking he's like over here like ice cool. No, he's ice cool because he doesn't understand what's going on. But good on him.
Absolutely. I mean, had an unbelievable season. 4 trips, as we mentioned, to victory lane. Tonight, he continued out the streak. Only in the 11 starts he made, he finished inside of the top 10, all 11 starts. Only finished outside the top 5 in one of those races, and I believe that was he was involved in a couple of crashes, had to DNF, but brings it home right in the final race of the season, 3rd position. You don't have to win to be able to win a championship. You just have to, as you said, control what you can control. Granted, he didn't know what he had to control, but he controlled it nonetheless and wraps up that championship. You got to think that more than likely next season, he's going to actually know when the championship's on the line and when it isn't, I would assume.
I mean, it's one of those things where you don't know how serious the situation is until, man, he was really just going for it. Man, that is a racer.
Absolutely. Now, this season too, and in looking forward to next season, we had kind of 3 segments of the season, bit of a changing of the guard. Early going, it was J.W. Miller, back-to-back races to open up the season. Obviously, we weren't able to see him for the entirety of the year. Then it kind of seemed like the consistency kicked in. Eric Schaus getting the road course victory, jumping up to the top of the point standings. But then you had the hard-charging Taylor Jordan at the end of the year, able to best Eric Schaus, take that points lead and preserve it for the final few races of the season. Do we expect to see something like that, a lot of swapping of the points league next year as well, or do you think there's going to be that one guy that kind of right out of the gate is going to jump to the top of the point stands and drivers are going to be hard-pressed to try and topple him?
I think it's maybe one of those, hey, we're going to have at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 favorites begin off the year, because you got to think, when we jumped into this series, this is the brand new car. Everyone's trying to wrap their heads around it. Maybe they don't have that much experience in it. There's a lot of iRacing updates at the time to this car where maybe any previous experience was kind of thrown out the window a little bit. And then now it's, hey, everyone's got a decent grasp on this car, and some more than others where, hey, they started out the season awful. And hey, now they are really just threats to win week in and week out, but just need some really good opportunities.
Yeah, that's an excellent point because, yeah, as we mentioned, most of these drivers, they were in a period of adaptation, trying to get used to these type of race cars, and now they're going to have notebooks to kind of go back and look at next season if a lot of these tracks return on the upcoming schedule. So everybody maybe a little bit more equal footing heading into the start of next year, as opposed to the different experience levels with this car that we were seeing near the beginning and middle portion of this season. But what a way to end off tonight. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties that we had. We fortunately were able to bring you the second half of the race, and hopefully don't have the issues in the future. Still got a couple of kinks that we got to work out here, but nonetheless, wild finish here tonight. Definitely deserving of a season finale, but the finish probably more exciting than the championship battle. Keep track of the championship battle with what we saw there on the final green-white checkered of the evening. Congratulations once to Craig Forsyth on the victory, to Taylor Jordan on the championship. And Matt, wild season here, lots of twists and turns, a lot of fun racetracks that we went to. This car keeping us on our toes as much as it was the drivers, and I appreciate you joining me here in the booth here tonight.
Always a delight.
Once again, thanks to everybody that tuned in, not only tonight, but all season long. Hope you guys enjoyed our coverage. Once again, Craig Forsyth, the winner, Taylor Jordan, the champion, the FART NDCar Series under the Dark Horse Racing Series banner. For Matthew Rodriguez, I'm Seth Cole. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, folks. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flat Out Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flat Out Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flat Out Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulator.